Madame la Chancelière, j'ai l'honneur de vous présenter Madame Lyse Doucet, qui s'est illustrée par ses reportages intrépides et rigoureusement fouillés, de même que son attachement à l'intégrité journalistique. After her undergraduate degree, Doucet began freelancing in Côte d'Ivoire. She reported across Africa for Canadian media and the BBC for 5 years. She then took on a series of foreign correspondent positions for the BBC in the Middle East, where she quickly gained a reputation as an expert on the region. In 1999, she began anchoring news programs for the BBC, but has remained its chief international correspondent, providing in-depth reporting on major events such as the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, the 2011 Arab Spring, the Syrian civil war in 2014, and the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Ms. Doucet has said about covering war zones, "You don't have to dramatize a dramatic story. Just tell it like it is, that's enough. Our job is to make sure people don't turn away." Madame Doucet est présidente d'honneur du Carrefour canadien international, organisme pour lequel elle a fait son premier séjour en Afrique. Elle est aussi membre de Friends of Ashiana UK, qui soutient les enfants travaillant dans les rues en Afghanistan, et membre fondatrice du Marie Colvin Journalist Network, qui soutient les femmes journalistes arabes. For her role in shaping humanity's understanding of current events, Doucet has received more honors than I could possibly list here. They include a Peabody Award, an Emmy, and the Columbia Journalism Award for Lifetime Achievement. Madame la Chancelière, au nom du Conseil d'administration et du Sénat de l'Université, j'ai le privilège et l'honneur de vous présenter Madame Lyse Doucet afin que vous lui décerniez un doctorat en droit honoré causa.
Now, I will invite Dr. Lyse Doucet to deliver her address, and I'm sure you'll all be extremely impressed.
Chancellor, that's very kind of you to say, but I think the class of 2024, it says, listen, we'll decide for ourselves whether or not this is impressive. Hashtag wow! Pas mal, Concordia, tout ce que vous êtes ici. Well done. Madame la Chancelière, Monsieur le Recteur, invité d'honneur, vous, les familles, où vous êtes, les familles? Wow. Wow, you guys got big families. And most of all, your class of 2024. You made it. Chapeau. Hashtag, way to go. And, as we've been hearing, that tote bag awaits you. And I know you're thinking about that tote bag right now, but let's focus. You're doing it in the year of history. 50 years of Concordia. Oh la la, 49 graduations. Oh, another graduation? No. I dare to say, and you know, Yours is a class like no other. You are students like no other. You have seen so much, survived so much. Yours is an education beyond compare. Let's go back to the beginning. Many of you in this gorgeous hall today arrived here in 2020, 2021. You arrived from across Montreal, across Quebec, across Canada, from across the world, all the way to Montreal. And you were stuck in your room. Hashtag boring. Because that powerful virus, COVID-19, was looking for you. No more veggie Reggie or chicken tendies at Reggie's. Pud soup at the People's Potato. No more hanging out in sports bars, cheering on Les Canadiens, allez, allez. The global pandemic eased. The global climate crisis surged, not far away on the other side of the world, but in the black smog that hung over you in the skies above Montreal, giving this La Belle Ville the terrible distinction of having the worst air quality anywhere in the world. And then came a war like no other. A war on the other side of the world, but a war that has mattered to many of you in this hall. The war in Gaza. And a war, the Israel-Gaza war, which has reminded all of us yet again that international news is no longer foreign, that what happens far away is not far away at all. It is right here in this hall. To the students who have taken part in these protests, I've read you on social media to hear you. I visited your encampment yesterday to see you. To the professors, your professors, who support your demands to the university and who took time to write to me to make sure I knew about their concerns, I'm grateful that you did. And I'm grateful too to President Carr, who took time to answer my questions, your questions. I was invited to Concordia to be here with you because the university kindly decided to honor my work, 4 decades of journalism for a public broadcaster, the BBC, and that has included covering every major war in the Middle East since 1994, when I went to live in Amman in Jordan and then in Jerusalem, a career which took me many times to Gaza. And some of you here today who've been studying journalism, where are you, the journalism students? Communications? History? Okay, theology. Okay, all of you. Perhaps you, like me, have come to realize, you too, okay, in 50 years' time, you'll get a tote bag. Okay. That what defines us as journalists, and perhaps what's defining us as citizens, is the questions that we ask and the questions that we don't ask. And even more, it's about how we listen, to really hear. To hear something we may not want to hear, something we didn't expect, something which changes our minds or not, something which changes someone else's mind. And in this hall today, there are those of you who also care deeply about other major crises of our time. The war and abuses tearing Sudan, Haiti, Ukraine apart, or the Taliban policies in Afghanistan, tearing the lives of girls and young women apart by barring them from high school and university. And in all of those countries and places I mention, your generation is being denied a graduation, a celebration like today. A future is being denied. Or maybe it is that what you care about most is the rights of Indigenous people here in Canada, or the poverty just outside those doors on the streets of Montreal, or what's happening in your own community. To find within ourselves something which is bigger than ourselves, to have the compassion and the conviction to understand and to feel that matters is a strength that you will take away with you. But as you go through those doors at the end of today, many of you believing you will change the world, you must take care of that strength, because the world outside will try to change you. When I was a graduate, like you, it was the investments by Canadian mining companies in Latin American dictatorships that really concerned me. So I found a way to get to their annual board meeting in Montreal, to disrupt it, to stand up from my seat to make a statement. And on that stage that day was a man who had been the boss of a mining company in my hometown in New Brunswick. That made it harder, but also important too. And where I sat, where you are sitting here today, in a chair at graduation, ending one chapter I knew so well, starting another chapter I didn't know well at all, there was one thing I knew. I wanted to be a foreign correspondent to tell the stories of the world. And yet after graduation, every Canadian editor I wrote to said, thanks, but no thanks. So I took a risk. I took a volunteer placement in West Africa. And when it was over, I found myself in that most magical of places. Right place, right time. The BBC was setting up its first West Africa office, and there I was. Wrong accent, no CV, no experience, and the skies opened, and the angels descended from heaven, and they said, give that girl from New Brunswick a job. I took a risk, as you will do. I found courage, as you will do. But courage doesn't have to mean going to the other side of the world and going to war zones. It also takes courage to speak up, to speak out, even to pick up the phone, to tell someone, I want that job, I can do it. And when people say no, you make it a yes. And courage, too, as Gina told us today, the courage to pick yourself up when you stumble and fall, because you will. We all do. And over the years, you will find, as I do to this day, that it is the kindness of strangers and friends and the gifts that you receive for your kindness that will be the secret weapon, the magical ingredient to help you achieve what you aspire to today. Kindness, courage, conviction, compassion. Since some of you are studying Irish studies, where are you? Where are you, Irish studies? Let me end with an Irish poem my sister Andrea gave to me when I graduated many years ago, and she's now a university professor and a Canada Research Chair. It's by the Nobel laureate Seamus Heaney, and it goes like this. And if the Irish students know it, they can say it with me. The way we are living, timorous or bold, will have been our life. The way we are living, timorous or bold, will have been your life. Class of 2024, I'm really proud to be part of your class. Go out into the world, be bold, and live your best life. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Doucet. What did I tell you?